Good evening, everyone. I hope your week's going well. We are in week 5. Congratulations on making it past the halfway point, past the midterm, all that good stuff. So we're going on the downhill slide now towards success for the course. I wanted to touch base with you on this week's case study and really want to reinforce. I'm going to spend the next few minutes showing you how to do everything that you need to do in Excel, because I don't want you to spend a lot of time focusing on that part of it. Obviously the work needs to be done, but with this video you shouldn't have any trouble completing and getting the metrics that you need. But what I really want you to focus on is understanding what it means, what the results mean, and be able to explain that in your answers. So as I go through this, I'll give you some more hints as well as to which numbers really mean something and that you really want to focus on as you're doing your readings of the chapters and looking at the PowerPoints. So you'll see in the assignment, the case study assignment, there'll be data similar to this but different. I didn't just want to have the answers, obviously, so I created some dummy data. This is not true data, so if anyone's from Rochester, New York, don't tell me my data is wrong, because it's just pretend for tonight. But I did want to give you some examples. So there are 4 parts to the question in your case study, and I'm going to walk you through parts 1, 2, and 3 as far as how to generate the data. In part 1, it's really simple. You're just going to generate the statistics, the descriptive statistics for both of the different variables that we're looking at. So in this example that I've got here, and this is how you'll see the data when you get it. It'll be combined all in one. So the first thing that I would suggest is just to sort of separate them out. So I'm going to grab California here, and I'm going to move it down a couple rows. The header, I'm going to copy and paste it down, so I've got the same header on both. And then very simply, I'm going to start with the average home values, and I want to get the descriptive statistics for that. So again, I'm going to my add-ins. Excuse me, not my add-ins. That's my other job, my day job. So I'm going to go to data and go to data analytics. I'm going to look for descriptive statistics. Here we go. I'm going to hit OK. It's going to ask which input range. So obviously we're not doing the middle of the page there. So I'm going to go average home values. So we see here, just to explain the data, so this was the city, the average home values in thousands, the population growth in the state. Pretty simple. So I grabbed average home values in thousands. Output range, you can really tell it where you want to put it. Doesn't matter. So for this example, let's put the first one in G1. We do have labels in the first row. I want to make sure that's there. And we want to see summary statistics. The confidence level is typically at 95, so we'll leave that there. And we hit OK. And there we go. All right, we've got our average home value. And then let's see here. There we go. Our average home value, that's the metric we were looking at. It gives us the mean. And then standard deviation. Those are the main things you're going to be looking for in that section. So to do that for the other variable, which is going to be California, very simple, right? You're going back to data analysis, hitting descriptive statistics. All you got to do is change where we're grabbing that from, our input range. We want to change our output range over here to, let's say, J1. That's all we got to do. All right, so now we have the average home values, descriptive statistics for that data set for both states. Probably should have put them on row 2, so you could come here and above and put New York, California, right, something like that. So, all right, so there we go. So that's part 1, right? Not very difficult. Again, not concerned with you spending a lot of time in Excel trying to figure this out. That's not the point. Of course, I want you to understand what the data is telling you and how to explain it. So spend more time in the text versus in here trying to figure out how to do which button to push, in other words. So for the next section, this one's sort of interesting. So what you want to have at the end of the day is what's called a one sample t-test. And the interesting part, when you go to data analysis and you scroll through the different analysis tools, you will not find under the t-test a one sample t-test. So there's a trick for that. There's a workaround, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So since we already have these separated, all you're going to want to do is just put a couple rows of dummy data in on both. So we're going to trick Excel into thinking that we have two pieces of data. Again, I'm just going to call it dummy. There we go. So I'm going to do the same thing. So for example, if it was asking me for growth of population for both of these, right, I'm going to be looking at those independently. I'm not, if it says, hey, tell me the growth of New York and tell me the growth of California, it's not asking me to directly compare the two. It's asking me to look at each one independently. So that's why in this example, or in part 2 of your question, you're going to do a one sample t-test. So to do that, like I said, we're creating some dummy data. It's going to make us think that we have two different things going on. I did that for both of them. So for New York, we're going to come over here. We are going to do a two sample, assuming equal variances, if I remember correctly. And the range that we're going to give it, we're going to say, okay, range number 1 is going to be New York. Here's the tricky part. Range number 2, our dummy data. And I meant to do the population growth. So let's move over to C here real quick. Let's go C2 and C8. Same thing here, C9 and C10. All right, we're going to leave our alpha at 0.05. I started on row 2, so let's start on, yeah, we will do that because we don't have labels in our second variable. So let's leave the labels off. We'll just add our own. The output range, let's put that on M to M2. Like that. So let's go M2. You can just click in it like that. And there we go. Alright, so that's a non-numeric. Yeah, that. Apologize for that. Didn't realize it reset our variable ranges. Alright, so our first variable range, population growth for New York, and our dummy data. Alright, output range is already set, so there we go. Alright, and we're going to want to do the same thing for the second set of data. So we want to find out the population growth for California. Very simple. I'm going to hit that, and I'm just going to change my input range here. And I'm going to change this one here. Very good. Change my output from M. Let's go over to R on this one. I'll move it over. So again, now I've got New York here, California here. So when we're looking at the one sample test, the main thing you're going to look at is the p-value. So read more about the p-value, and you'll see that in your metrics as you go through. And again, we're looking at one set of data. So you're looking here at this P1 tail, right? That's what you're going to look at there. Okay, so that's your hint for the second part. Again, focus on the readings in the chapter to learn more about the p-values and how to compare those and so forth and so on. All right, so lastly, we've got the third section. And in this instance, they're asking you to compare between two variables. So here, if we wanted to compare, let's say we want to compare the average home value between New York and California. We won't need this dummy data, but we can leave it there. It's fine. So what we want to do here, same thing, two t-sample test. We want to grab that. Going to change our input here. Variable range 1, we want to do New York. And in variable range 2, we're going to do California. All right, we're going to leave everything else the same. The only thing I want to do here, let's just change the output. I'll throw it down here at the bottom. That way we can see everything at the same time. And there we go. All right, that's going to give us the comparison of those two different sets of data. Now, when you're comparing these, you're going to want to look at the t-value and the p-value. So just a hint there. But again, you're going to be looking at the two-tailed information, okay? Because here we do have two pieces of data. Over here, remember, we were tricking it and making it think we had two pieces, but we really only had one piece of data. So that should clear everything up there. But so that's really, again, it doesn't take a lot of time. I think we've done this in about 10 minutes, and that's me going slow, walking you through it. Once you get your data set up correctly, it's just plugging it in, and Excel's going to give you the main metrics that you need, and you'll be able to then describe and explain and answer the questions that are given in the case study this week. So I think you guys should do very well with it. I'm looking forward to seeing your answers and your submissions. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'll be glad to spend some time and go over it with you individually if needed, or if we need to set up a small group video, I'll be glad to do that as well. So just keep in touch, and we'll continue to move forward. Hope you guys are having a great week, and I hope this is helpful. Good night.